Kyle Daukaus versus Dustin Stoltzfus. We got minus 275 on Kyle Daukaus and plus 235 on the German Dustin Stoltzfus. So let's start off with the self-proclaimed German. He's actually American. He was born over in Pennsylvania, I believe. Or sorry, yeah, he was born in Pennsylvania. Then he moved over to Germany. I'm not sure if it was entirely to study or what it was, but he did end up getting into MMA, and he put together a solid record for himself when he was over there, fighting mainly in a promotion called We Love MMA. And I find it fucking hilarious though when with some of these some of these German MMA promotion names, like maybe they're like overcorrecting for the unfortunate history that their country has had, but some of the names for their for their MMA promotions are fucking hilarious. So like there's We Love MMA, there's Fair FC, and then there's another one called Respect FC or some shit like that. It's hilarious to see the type of work that they're putting in to do that. But let's get back to this fight. So with Dustin Stoltzfus, it's still a little bit difficult to really get a grasp on what he's about and what his style really is. In the Joseph Pfeiffer fight that he had against on the Contender Series, Pfeiffer seemed to have a really good a good fight leading up to that arm injury that he incurred. But he was doing good on the feet, pretty much doing a solid job of touching up Dustin, and even got him down pretty well too. Dustin showed some good guard play in terms of threatening for submissions and kind of just striking from the bottom and keeping things tight, so it was a little bit harder for Pfeiffer to really get anything off. But Pfeiffer did manage to fight through a little bit and landed some good shots himself. Stoltzfus was able to reverse the position, get back to his feet, and then kind of slam Pfeiffer. And then obviously, we saw what happened with Pfeiffer's arm. The two fights before that against Jonas Bildstein and Nihad Nasufovic, one of them he won by punches, and then the second one he won via twister. But both of those fights, it looks like he was a guy that was quite timid in terms of striking. He seemed quite calculated in terms of just waiting for his openings and then going out there and striking, getting leg kicks off and, some solid punches and solid counters too. The Jonas Bildstein one was kind of vicious because they had this weird clinch position, and then Dustin kind of tripped Jonas as Jonas was moving backwards, and as Jonas was moving backwards, he ate a beautiful punch from Dustin that pretty much floored him, and then he followed up with some ground and pound. But that kid was out as soon as he got hit with that right hand. I'm still trying to get a feel for him. It seems like he has solid striking, but the one issue that I did find in the fights that I was watching of his is that he did have some issues with his takedown defense. And to have issues with your takedown defense against a guy like Kyle Daukaus is going to be some trouble. And now I completely understand why Kyle Daukaus is a minus 275 favorite. Minus 275. Makes absolute sense. This line has been getting steamed as well too. It opened up minus 245. We saw it get up to minus 225 with a little love coming on Dustin, and then eventually the love for Kyle started to rein in. So Kyle, obviously, he has a brother, Chris Daukaus, who fights in the heavyweight division, but Kyle Daukaus is slightly smaller but has ridiculously long limbs. His reach is 76 inches. He's 6'3", fighting at 185 pounds. I think he has a ton of talent and a ton of potential as well too. Most of his wins obviously coming via submission, via choke. I like what I'm seeing from the kid. He could use a little bit of work on the feet, obviously. He did get rocked a couple times by Stefan Regman and Nolan Norwood, even in the Brendan Allen fight. Allen did had a little bit of success in terms of trying to hurt him, but obviously it looked like Kyle was a little bit better on the feet than Brendan Allen, and we saw Brendan Allen's lack of striking defense this past weekend when he fought a super high-level striker in Sean Strickland. But Kyle Daukaus had some success, especially in that third round, where he was finally able to get the back of Brendan Allen, where we saw the gas tank of Allen kind of fail him. And Allen did a really good job in terms of just staying in there, fighting off the submissions, and Kyle Daukaus showed a ton of heart in terms of being able to, maintain that position as well as he did, given all the damage that he accrued in those first two rounds, and did a solid job in terms of controlling Allen there. Unfortunately, he gave up the first two rounds, which is why he ended up losing the decision. But this seems like a little bit better of a fight for him. Again, still trying to get a full grasp of what Dustin has on the feet. Again, very calculated, low output, which is kind of concerning. But yeah, I do believe that Kyle will be successful in dragging this fight to the feet or to the ground, and I do believe that we'll see him pull off a submission. Now, don't get the fact that Dustin Stoltzfus has a couple submission victories on his record, even a twister on his record too. Don't get that mixed up with the fact that Kyle Daukaus is gonna be the better jiu-jitsu guy here. Dustin, that fight against Nahad, where he did pull off the twister, that came in the third round, where Dustin did a solid amount of work against Nihad in that first and second round, even hurt and dropped him in that second round, and then in the third round it just kind of seemed like he was continuing what was going on in the third round. Nahad really didn't have much in that, and I don't even think he saw that twister coming either, which was very, very impressive from Dustin to sneakily set that up and then eventually pull it off. But I think he's going to have to do a lot more than that to do to get Kyle Daukaus out there with the twist or even a submission of any kind. I think if Dustin gets this done, it's going to be on the feet, and if Kyle gets this done, this will be on the ground. So whether it's a submission or even just a decision victory with controlling Dustin the entire time, that's the way to go. So in my opinion, I believe the line is a little bit wide. I do like Kyle Daukaus to win this fight. I do think he gets it done via submission. The over-under is currently at 2.5. I wouldn't mind taking a little bit of a poke at the under 2.5. -105 is not that bad of a line. I think both guys have finishing capabilities, but I do think that Kyle Daukaus could be more successful with pulling off a submission. Now, the one of his more famous or more preferred chokes would be the Darce choke, and that's something that he's able to set up pretty easily whenever guys are trying to get up. When they're trying to get up, they kind of put their head into the chest of their opponents and they try to get off like that. But while they're doing that, Kyle Daukaus does a really good job of just getting his hands in position, setting up that choke, setting up the lock, and then just squeezing. And with his range, with his reach, with his arm length, with how weird his body is built, he's just able to pull off some of these submissions from weird positions. So I do like Kyle Daukaus to win this fight. I will say that the line is a little bit too wide, possibly a parlayable spot, but we do still have some questions about Kyle and how he would deal with a guy like Dustin on the feet, depending on how long the fight stays on the feet. But what studying has shown me is that Dustin can be taken down. He doesn't put up the biggest fight. Obviously, Kyle might not get it the first time or the second time, but I could see him getting it eventually. So hopefully in that amount of time he doesn't get knocked out or anything like that. But I could definitely see Kyle taking this to the ground and pulling off a submission sometime in the first or second round. But the under 2.5 at -105 plus money as well, plus 100 at Pinnacle is very, very enticing. So that's something to look forward to. All right. Final prediction, I'm going to say Kyle Daukaus to win this fight via second round submission.